Hello, my name is Castiello L, and today I am going to give an overview of cancer. Cancer is a multifactorial disease that consists of several mishaps that are caused by abnormal signal transductions, environmental factors, epigenetics, chronic inflammation secondary to viruses, and molecular mutations. On a molecular level, cancer is defined as a a continuous expression of genes or cells, and they are unable to turn off. And this just means that the normal process of the cell has been accelerated, and now it's stuck in an on or off position, and it can no longer complete its normal function. As it pertains to the different contributors to cancer, such as viruses, there are several different viruses that we've discussed thus far that can contribute to cancer, such as hepatitis B, hepatitis C, human papillomavirus, the Epstein-Barr virus, and HIV-1. Human papillomavirus specifically has been linked to several different forms of cancer, such as cervical, head, neck, and breast. There are two different oncoproteins associated with HPV that cause suppression of tumor suppressor genes, such as PRB and P16. This does so by the E7 protein. It suppresses the PRB gene, and the E6 protein suppresses the P16, and therefore the cells are unable to go through their natural process of apoptosis, which is when there are damages to the cells. The cell has a natural process of being able to go in and kill the cell off and go through phagocytosis to get rid of the cell. However, with cancer, it just continuously reproduces. Like I said before, it can continuously make the cells, and they use their normal function. It's just done so in a negative way. As it pertains to cancer and the accumulation of cells to create a tumor, a cancer cell can accumulate to about 2 millimeters before it requires outside additional sources to grow further and be able to move, which is called metastasis, and this is what makes cancer fatal. The tumor microenvironment is involved in the nutrients or giving nutrients to the cancer cells for them to be able to grow larger and spread throughout the body. The tumor microenvironment consists of acellular and cellular components that act out their normal functions. However, they are doing so for the cancer cells. So the VEGF, which is an endothelial growth factor, sends out signals to the cells, and it brings into the tumor cells, and these cells are able to begin the process of angiogenesis, which is the formation of blood vessels, which is what the cells need in order for them to grow and be able to move throughout the body. But once again, because they are cancer cells, they have mutations, so this is a continuous process that allows them to create some mature vasculature. However, there are still different vasculatures that are created that are leaky, and it continues the process. So it's just a big ball of mess, which is what we know to be tumors. Depending on the different type of virus will determine where the cells will go first as far as metastasis goes. I did a paper on pancreatic cancer, which stated that metastasis of pancreatic cancer normally goes to the lungs, the stomach, and the colon. And that's what makes pancreatic cancer very fatal, because lung cancer is the number one cause of cancer-related deaths, and pancreatic cancer is currently number 3. We also learned about interferons, which are cytokine proteins that are released in the body when there is an infection in a cell. The cytokines go to the cell, and they attempt to bandage or address the issue and treat the cells and increase the immune system of the cells, and it alerts the nearby cells that there is a virus and they prepare them for the possible exposure to the virus. Natural killer cells will then come in and come to these cells that have the active virus and attempt to kill it. And there are also different cells called macrophages that do the same thing and use exocytosis to rid them of the damaged cells. However, there was research that found that interferons, though they can have this immune effect, they can also work for the cancer cells as well. So when they go through the process of alerting the cells of being damaged, it can alert the cancer cells of the damaged cells, and then the cancer will come to those cells, and it will go through that same process of going through angiogenesis and creating new vasculature to make the tumors bigger, and then results in metastasis. Additionally, we learned about biomarkers, which are different products or byproducts that are found within cells that can be indicative of different forms of cancer. However, depending upon the cancer, it's difficult to use the biomarkers because every cell is different and every cell within a tumor can be different. So one biomarker may not be present for the different tumors in the cell, although the different cells have already created tumors for the cancer, if that makes sense. So biomarkers are a great preventative or an indicator, or used as great indicators for cancer, but it depends on the type of cancer because the molecular structure can be very different, and then it would just be inconclusive. There are several different forms of treatment to address cancer, such as chemotherapy, immunotherapy, radiation, and I also found different articles about interferons and how interferons are used in immunotherapy to go to the cells and alert them of the different immune issues. And in doing so, once again, they found that the interferon 1 cytokines were being used by the cancer cells, so they are not as good of an option as they thought they were to be before. Going back to the chronic inflammation, I wanted to address that the cells being compromised allows them to, the cells being in a consistent state of being compromised and not being able to go through their natural process is what is triggered when cancer is alerted in the body. The compromised cells can send out signals to the body, like with the interferon, and then the compromised cells will alert the cancer cells, and then they would come to that location, and then they continue to build. So this is a process that can occur frequently, and this starts the process of having many tumors throughout the body, and then they send, once again, the tumor microenvironment will be used to progress the tumors into different stages so they can grow larger and move throughout the body and cause metastasis, which once again is what makes cancer fatal. There is no definitive cure for cancer at this time. However, there are different modifiable factors related to cancer that can reduce your chances, such as not smoking, reducing alcohol usage, having a balanced diet, wearing sunscreen to reduce radiation exposure, UV exposure, and generally just being a healthy individual. Although that does not exclude you from getting cancer, it does help reduce your chances of getting cancer. Thank you for listening.